This is Dwight with Social Studies for the 21st Century, and I'm going to tell you guys all about why I turned my classroom into a museum early on in the school year. Okay, so I'm just wrapping up a 2-day activity with my students in which I turned my classroom into the Saranac Lake Middle School Museum of Teacher Anthropology and History. So the first thing I do for this activity is send an email out to my colleagues. I reached out to my colleagues the first week in school and said, hey, could you bring in 6 to 8 artifacts representative of who you are as an individual and let me use them for a class activity? I was blown away by the overwhelming support. Reach out to your colleagues, because if you can get more teachers involved, you can have more teachers able to build a relationship and build some rapport with the students. They're gonna feel like they know us better, and you're also going to know each other better as professionals. First thing is to email your colleagues, ask them to bring in items. And I had 15 teachers in the building respond by bringing in artifacts representative of them. So we had marathon medals, we had coffee mugs, coffee beans, we even had a pair of stilts, crazy enough. And so all of these things representative of who these teachers are. And so students, just like they had to with the penny archaeology activity, which I did earlier in the week, and I'll link to the video I shot about that one up there, students were to go around to each exhibit and they would look not just at a singular artifact as they had with the penny archaeology exhibit, but with a collection of artifacts. And so they would have to observe what those artifacts are, infer what those artifacts tell you about the person who brought them in, and then finally, they're going to have to make a claim about who and what teacher brought those in. So that was a 2 full day activity. The first day was all about going from station to station, observing and writing down their notes about the details. 1, there was a spatula. There was a mason jar with a note on it that said melted snow. I absolutely loved that artifact. And so by the end of this, students are wondering, they're banging down the door being like, you gotta tell me who belongs to which one. And the other thing that they're doing is they're using their social studies skills. They're having a bit of fun, but they're also using those skills that we want them to have. Rather than simply learning about history, they are learning how to do history. And that's the most important part early on in the school year. And we can encourage kids to examine artifacts, examine these everyday items, and try and figure out what's the story, what brings this collection of artifacts together. What can we learn about the people who brought these in, that feel that these represent them? That's what we did. And on the second day of that activity, I gave them a brief opportunity to walk around and check it out once again, but then they had the majority of that time to come up with 3 claims. And so using that CER method, the claim, evidence, and reasoning method there, I believe this set of artifacts belongs to this teacher because this object shows me that they're into this sort of thing. This jar of peanut butter certainly goes along with this 6th grade teacher who just loves peanut butter. One of the 6th grade teachers here loves peanut butter and definitely made that connection. The kids made that connection between that teacher and peanut butter. And so it was a way for also us as teachers to look back, like what sort of impact do we have on our students? What are the things that they remember about us? And so building those relationships is so critical to teaching in the 21st century. And so using that CER method, students were to make a claim. Then they were going to provide 3 artifacts which support their claim and give 3 reasons as to why those artifacts that they chose support their claim. And that's precisely what we want to do with history. As Jill Lepore says, history is an endlessly interesting argument where evidence is everything and storytelling is everything else. The important part here is the evidence, the claim, and the reasoning behind it. And getting students thinking early on in the school year about that, getting them used to writing about it, and certainly when it's a low-stakes environment like this, is crucial to getting them thinking about what they're going to do in social studies the rest of the year. So get them thinking about social studies, get them doing social studies, history, using those skills right off the bat, and you will be able to call upon your students to do even more when it comes to claims, evidence, reasons, and crafting arguments later on in the school year. So that's why I turn my classroom into a museum early on in the school year. You should try it too. It worked pretty effectively. Kids had fun, and especially the teachers had fun coming in, learning about each other in new and different ways. So that's it. I'm Dwight. This is Social Studies for the 21st Century, and I will see you guys next time.